we're gonna talk about interior detailing, all the tips, the tricks, the chemicals, the tools, everything that you need to know about interior detailing.
Interior detailing is one of my favorite things to do. I really enjoy interiors.
I do too.
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't, but I think for me it's the win at the end, right? It's the biggest place to make an impact. So we have a lot of stuff on the table here, but it doesn't necessarily mean you'll use all this stuff in every interior detail, right? When a vehicle comes in, or if it's your own vehicle, it could be in a range of situations, right? It could be kind of clean, or it could be like the kids had a muddy soccer game type of situation. So we've kind of laid out everything for any type of situation.
Do you like to start on the driver's side or the passenger side? Or how do you do it?
That's actually a great question. So I do start at the driver. And so generally speaking, when I start a detail, I remove all personal belongings, I remove the floor mats, and after I assess the situation, but I do always start in the driver section.
So the process usually starts with opening up the car, getting all the junk out, and now what I like to call the first step of the interior detail is the blowout. Blowing stuff out and vacuuming it up. And like, even if you just do this, it's gonna be a huge change on your cars.
So something like a Tornador, right?
Yep.
If you have an air compressor, this is like probably the most important tool, right?
Yep.
If you get a good blowout, the whole rest of the interior detail is gonna go great. It really is.
And it's important to vacuum up all that dust and dirt, because if you're gonna do any type of actually like extraction or cleaning, like you don't wanna make mud. So the easiest way is to get it all blown out and get it vacuumed. And the nice thing about the Tornador, it's like a vortex, right? So it actually, the way that it works, it almost pulls up all the material or the debris out of the carpets and fabrics and everywhere else.
Sand
and, really
all that kind of stuff,
Okay, and going into the cleaning process, you know, how do you start? Where do you?
Yeah, so generally speaking, one thing I wanted to say was I do everything in the same order every single time, because that way you have your process, you stay fast, you don't have to have a checklist, and you don't ever forget anything. So I never jump around. I do every single car the same way every single time. So once I'm done vacuuming, I come right back to the driver's section, and that's where I start again. So each new process, I start right back at the driver's section. Now, the first thing on the table here, you're probably wondering why I put this on here, right?
Yeah, that's for paint.
It's called paint gloss. It's a quick detailer. However, I found out years ago that this is actually such a great vacuum aid. When we're vacuuming, we're using friction, right? You're using a brush or, whatever attachment you're using, you're moving it across a fabric surface, carpet. That's creating friction, thus static. So if you give a couple spritzes of paint gloss, which is an anti-static, it's a quick detailer. So just 1 to 2 sprays per, footwell. And it's gonna make the sand come up so much easier. You're gonna vacuum in half the time, and then pet hair. So obviously sometimes in interior details, the worst part of it is the pet hair. I know it's called paint gloss, but this is actually like the most important part in my interior detail.
That's an awesome little hack. I mean, so like paint gloss, like is there anything in there that could like do anything to the carpets? Is it gonna make it slippery or sudsy or?
Nope, it's just an anti-static. So it's kind of like a waterless wash. So it is gonna have just a teeny bit of cleaning ability. But what's nice about that is you spray it on a black carpet, and when you're vacuuming, the carpet turns super black. So it actually looks like you cleaned it, because I would say in my shop, probably 90% of the vehicles do not need any extraction, but they all need just a little touch up. So there's no waxes, fillers, there's nothing in here that's going to build onto the surface.
For most cars, like if you're using the paint gloss, and just wiping it up, you don't need to do like a full-on chemical like cleaning.
So I never worry about getting the vacuuming perfect first round, because when you're doing all this other stuff, inevitably some other stuff's gonna get on the floor, and I always do a final vac anyway. So I don't spend, that extra 30, 40 minutes at the beginning making sure I get every single hair. I get it about 90, 95% of the way.
Vacuum, so I'm gonna give you my opinion and preference in vacuums. Recently started using Metrovacs. This is a portable, handheld, battery operated vac. What I really like about Metrovac is that they're super quiet. So like I use the rigid orange vacuums from Home Depot for a long time, and those are great too, because they're cheap and they're wet dry vacs. Like Metrovacs aren't usually, for wet, but like as I get older, everything's a little more sensitive, right?
Yep,
like,
yep.
and I just want, and these are just awesome vacuums. Obviously, they're on the little higher end of the range of price and everything, but for like quality of vacuums, one of the best brands of vacuums. You got any preference on vacuums?
So I actually have a built-in, garage vacuum. And so I have one with a long hose and it sucks up in the ceiling. It's really great.
By the way, you can probably hear the air compressor turn on back behind us. If you don't have an air compressor, which is great, number one efficiency, thing you can do with interior detailing is use an air gun. If you don't necessarily have an air gun, Metrovac also has the Sidekick Blaster, which is a blower. So it's a 110 volt, you plug it in the wall and you have air, and it's filtered air and it actually warms up after a while, which is nice too. And you can use it for drying your car, but I know a lot of people actually use it on the interior just to blow out under the seats and everything else. So that's nice too. Dog hair.
Nobody likes dog hair. So
How do you do that?
again, super important on the tools. So my favorite dog hair tool is the For Real. So there's lots of tools out there for dog hair. There's, the silicone brushes, there's the stone, the pet stones, which those are great. I do love the pet stone, but you can damage materials if you hit them wrong. So
I have.
yeah, me too. So the For Real is an attachment that goes right on your vacuum. Got these hard little finger, they're probably made of silicone, they're hard.
Rubber,
and so what these do is they grab onto the hair and they help lift it away from the carpet as you're vacuuming. Really speeds it up. Yeah. Really speeds it up.
And efficiency that goes right on the vacuum and it just sucks up the hair.
Yeah, and it's just so much easier. And then, if you need a crevice tool, you can pull the tip off, and this is just a great tool, really great tool. I would never be without one of these.
I just started using this year, and it's been around for a while, and I always refused to use it, like I always had a rubber glove and everything, and then I used it, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? Why haven't I used this yet? It's great.
Obviously with dog hair and things, I still use a lot of brushes while I'm vacuuming. This is one that I use as well, especially like along where the
channel.
Yeah, like where the plastic meets the carpet. Sometimes you can get rosa sand that's hard to get with a crevice tool. So I'll brush that out with this, kind of loosen that dirt around maybe the bolts in the seats and things like that. So I still kind of carry one of these with me while I'm vacuuming.
After vacuuming, we're gonna clean the leather, vinyl, and rubber.
Yep. I usually start with the doors. And so I'll grab my spray bottle of Express, a Sidekick, and a brush. And I usually have all those tools on me or near me. And then, just depending on how dirty the door is, I'll either spray it on the Sidekick or the door. If the door is really dirty, I spray it right on the door. And then I always have a towel. I also use a steamer, so we don't have a steamer sitting out here. Okay. But for me in my shop, I use a lot of steam. But you can just use, wet towels is fine if you want. I did that for years.
Yeah, a bucket of hot water with microfibers in it. Works great.
Oh yeah, totally. And then I'll move in, into the driver compartment. I usually save the seat till last because generally I will, if I need to reach something, I'll sit on the seat. So the seat surface is the last part of that section that I clean. Okay. So I just start by scrubbing and then either rinse with a wet towel or your steamer.
So next, when you come into interior detailing, any type of detailing automotive products, it can be very confusing because there's all kinds of products and cleaners and all-purpose cleaners and degreasers and special leather cleaners and stuff. And I love that P&S has made it simple to actually clean interiors.
So there's several different ways to go about that and or severities, right? Because I'm always like a less is more. So if I have a brand new car that's come in, has 2,000 miles on it, it may not need all the steam and all the chemicals and all that, right? You're just trying to touch it up or, get it to a clean point. But I always start with what is the least aggressive for any material on the vehicle, right? So we have different levels. And so the first one would be if you're doing a maintenance wash, if you're a DIY person cleaning your own car, we have the new Express interior wipes. These are fantastic. So these are pre-saturated with our Express interior, which is wildly popular. So this is gonna be good for quick wipe downs, car washes. It's going to be really great even on super dirty interiors. Think when you have the Jolly Ranchers or the suckers all stuck in the the center consoles and the cup holders and things. You can just take one, scoop all that stuff out, toss it in the trash. Then you're not getting all that stuff in your good towels. So you kind of can pre-wipe stuff, toss it out. Think if the steering wheel's really nasty with makeup, do a pre-scrub with one of these. So the Express interior wipes, super awesome. I love these. These are going to be for those quick cleanups or pre-scrub, right? And then next step is going to be Express Interior. So this is an all-around interior cleaner. It's dilutable. I like it at 1:1. I don't usually take it more than that.
Wow, so you dilute this?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I dilute it 1:1. It still foams really well.
Yeah.
And that's why people love Express Interiors. It foams up really well when you take the brush and you swirl it around. You get a lot of foam. What the great thing about Express Interior is a lot of people like to use all-purpose cleaners on interiors.
Oh, I got a rant about this one.
Not good, not good. And you can really damage a lot of stuff with all-purpose cleaners.
I used to use a lot of all-purpose cleaner. It was like, it almost was like you didn't know what you didn't know, because I would clean it, use for carpets and everything. And like all-purpose cleaners are really meant for like exteriors and stuff, because it foams, it never gets out of the carpet, and it can cause damage. And when you're cleaning, it's streaky.
Yeah.
Like it is so bad.
And it's so drying to the leather. You can leave spots that we won't even talk about how you get about
everything. Yeah.
So bad. So Express Interior is obviously specifically formulated for interior surfaces, but it packs the punch of an APC. So you get that cleaning ability, but it doesn't dry anything out. It doesn't leave anything behind, no residue. You really can't damage anything with it. Like that was my very first experience with it. And I love this product is you could spray it right on leather seats and you're not gonna, not that you should do that, but we know people do.
Right.
And so we want a product that's safe no matter what somebody does with it. So Express Interior, again, can be ranged on, the car doesn't have to be super dirty or it can be super dirty. So then paired with the correct tool, you can kind of bump up its efficiency. So you can spray it, right on the brushes, whatever tool you want to use, the towel. We have the PNS Sidekick, really great tool. It's got that kind of, scrubby material. Yeah. You can really get down and dirty with that. Yeah. You can really get out a lot on your leather.
If you haven't used a sponge like this, microfiber towels are great and everything, but this literally, it cleans all, like if you think of like a vinyl dashboard, it has texture to it. This really does help clean it a lot better than a normal microfiber or a brush for that case. So that's a great product.
That works great with Express. So Express is a great all around. I mean, it can, not that you would spray it on a nav screen, but I mean, it's even safe if it's on your towel and you wipe across it, like it's not going to hurt it. It's not going to leave anything behind, which is really nice. And so you really can just clean the interior and all of it just kind of dissipates on its own. It doesn't leave behind any residue, which is so nice.
If you've watched our car wash video, we talked about Dawn dish soap and everything. It'll clean a car, but it'll end up damaging, sensitive plastic and rubber pieces by drying them out. It's the same thing on interior, like the leather, all the plastic and rubber and stuff too. You got UV, you already got all this other stuff that you're fighting against, but and now you're gonna use an all-purpose cleaner that's gonna dry it out. So this won't dry it out and everything.
No, So and what's nice about this product is you can choose to dress after it, but you don't necessarily need to.
Right.
And we think 10, 20 years ago when we used to detail cars, we would dry the heck out of them and then we had to use the most shiny dressing that we had to put some of that moisture back in. Yeah. So that's what's nice is if you don't like to use dressings or you don't feel like you need it, it really doesn't, you don't really need to go back over it with anything. So
nice natural finish.
Yeah, super great.
But if you do want some shine.
Yep, next one up is Swift. So Swift is a hybrid product. So this is going to be part cleaner, part dressing. So you can use it for quick details, you can use it for quick cleanups. I get a lot of new cars in my shop, newer, that don't really need the whole system. And so this is what I choose because it does a little bit of cleaning and it does a little bit of dressing. Awesome, awesome product. So great for consumer use. And I actually will use this as my dressing as a follow-up to Express. So that's what's nice is everything plays well together. So I will use Swift when I just want it more of a really natural OEM finish. Yeah. It's got some, UV protectant in there. It smells great. It smells like orange creamsicle. This product's also great that we haven't mentioned is on rubber floor mats. Okay. Really, really great dressing on rubber floor mats because it doesn't leave them slick, doesn't leave them shiny, just nice and black, like they were new. Yeah. So really like Swift. The other nice thing about Swift is that, anytime you put a product together and it's a hybrid, you lose a little bit of both sides, right? And so what's great though is it still packs a punch for cleaning. And when you pair it with like the Sidekick, which sounds a little bit crazy, you actually get a lot of sudsing out of it and scrubbing ability.
So like an all-in-one cleaner and protectant.
Yeah. Yep. So love this product. This is a great one. There might be cars that come dirtier. right? They might have cloth interior, they might have beige carpet, who knows? So we have an awesome 3-part carpet system.
This is an infamous 3-step system.
Yeah, it's really, really great. We've got the Terminator, which is an enzyme cleaner. So this is gonna start the breakdown process of all the stains. So it's going to attack the food and the dirt. It's gonna start breaking everything down. Enzyme cleaner also is going to break down things, like if you have urine or, vomit, anything like that. It starts the breakdown part so that the stain can be removed. So it's actually very important. So Terminator, then Carpet Bomber is like the surfactant, the soap, if you want to put it in simple terms, that's going to be what cleans
the muscle.
That's going to be what cleans the carpet. Yeah. And then you have to do Finisher, which this is a peroxide product. This is going to deactivate all the surfactants, all the cleaners, and it's going to neutralize the carpet, odor and the cleaners. It neutralizes everything. Yeah. So you don't want to skip this step. People always want to skip a step. Don't skip this step. Don't skip any of them. Don't skip this.
Using this, it actually kind of brightens everything up too a little bit, So I really like that.
It brightens it all up. But we hear the word like wicking, which is when the stain comes back. And so what happens is we get the stain out and we're leaving surfactants on the surface. And when somebody steps in with their shoes or their jeans or their hands, the stain looks like it came back, but it's because the soap that you left on the surface has now cleaned your hands, your jeans, your shoes. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to leave those on the surface. So Finisher, you definitely want to neutralize everything so that it stays fresh and clean. Yeah. And this is a versatile system too. You can use it with a dry brush, you can use it with the drill brush, you can use it with an extractor. So just depending on how bad your stains are, there's a variety of ways to finish this system out. So
can Swift be used on leather? I mean, would you want to use that? Okay. Yeah.
So some of the time I will choose this as my dressing. Even though I cleaned with Express, I will still choose this as my dressing. Okay. Just because if I want something a little bit lighter, and especially like with today's all the EVs that are out there, they don't take dressing well, right? And so this is a nice, it's definitely much more toned down. So this is kind of my go-to with a lot of the EVs that are out there now. Yeah.
And the next product is a leather treatment, but I know a lot of the seats, maybe vinyl, maybe leather, maybe, fake leather and all this other stuff, but they still have top coats and they still need to be conditioned. That conditioner still will seep through and help keep that seat soft and last longer. So this is the leather treatment.
Yeah, so leather treatment, just think of it like lotion for your skin, right? If you let your skin dry out, you push on it, it cracks. It will absorb whatever it comes into contact with because it's dying, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is the ultimate protector. So this is going to, rehydrate the seat. It's going to leave behind protection. It leaves behind a satin finish. It's not, greasy, clingy, anything like that. It totally settles out on its own. It smells like leather, which I think smells fantastic, but this is like lotion for your skin. It's really the rehydrator, which is really important.
One of the things that I like to do with dressings is once I put them on the dash, and very important with dressings, like you have to have full coverage. So I'll use an applicator and make sure I get it all over there, but then I use a dry microfiber and I go over everything to blend it in and remove any excess. And that seems to, do a really nice job and make it a really, clean, natural type of finish.
So if you don't want sunscreens and body oils and crayons and things to stain your leather seats, if you have them hydrated, those things are not going to stain them.
Keeps it soft.
Super important.
In the later years when leather, it gets hard and that's when it starts to break apart and crack and everything else. So keeping up with it is very important. Next product is an aerosol. This is, a spray gloss or, some sort of protectant on there.
Yeah, so I feel like that one is what makes me look like a hero when I detail. So I use that in all the hard to reach places. So vents, in the door jambs, all the, piping and everything that's in there. I use it on the seatbelt buckles. So just anywhere that you need to rehydrate, but you don't want to leave anything behind. It just kind of settles out on its own. So I absolutely love that product. I use it all the time. So that is the one that before I start dressing a car, I go around and I hit all those hard to reach areas so that it's seamless. And it literally, it changes it.
When you spray it, I usually wipe it behind it, and it leaves it like a brand new, fresh finish and everything. So it's not, if you spray it on there thick and you leave it, it will be greasy, but usually you take a dry microfiber and wipe it clean and it's absolutely awesome. This is but this is another dressing.
Yeah, so this is probably one of my most favorite P&S products. Yeah, I love natural finish. So this is going to be a typical dressing. So I actually use this more than I do the leather treatment. The only time I grab the leather treatment is when I have like, you know, leather that is really, really dry. And so natural finish is kind of, you know, it's great for all the plastics, vinyls. I use it on leather. It's great on leather. So this is just a traditional interior dressing, but I love it because it goes on a bit shiny, but then it totally settles out with just literally what its name is, a natural finish. So it's a little bit heavier than say Swift, but for vehicles that haven't been detailed for a year or something like that, great choice. I go through a lot of natural finish. I really, really love natural finish.
And after all the dressings, after everything is clean, you want to clean the glass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
so
Yep.
TrueView.
So TrueView glass cleaner, just super simple but super effective glass cleaner. I like to do an applicator method with another towel behind it. So I kind of use a different method because nobody likes streaked glass, right? And glass seems to be everybody's most unfavorite thing to do. It's actually my favorite. So TrueView is just, it is a highly dilutable. So you can go 4-to-1, 10-to-1, depending on, you know, where you live and what your needs are, but just a great, you know, safe for all tint. I mean, safe for everything. Nav screens. So it's just a really great glass cleaner. Yeah, really solid.
And some of us prefer, some of us don't like fragrances.
Yeah, fragrances.
Yeah.
So, and the fun thing about our fragrance line is we've taken these fragrances out of our products. So a lot of these are, you know, the essence of another product that we have because people love the way the product smells so much.
Yeah.
And so these are the essence of. And so, you know, they're highly dilutable as well. They can go up to 2 gallons or you can do a half a gallon depending on how strong you like it.
Okay.
And so you just, these are concentrates. So you mix them with a gallon and then I mix mine in a gallon of distilled water and then I pour it right back in here for the spray bottle.
Yeah.
And you just do a couple spritz underneath the seat, close the door for 20 minutes and you've got a good couple days of freshness. So just a really nice leave behind for yourself or for a customer, not overpowering, not, you know, anything crazy, just a nice aroma of our favorite products.
Do you have to be careful when spraying any of this? Like, will it stain plastics or stain carpets or anything?
No, because once diluted down, I know they look a little bit, you know, pigmented in the bottles, but once they're diluted down, they're pretty light. And when you spray them, they basically just, you know, they disappear into the carpet. So no threat of staining anything or anything like that. So
that is the interior detailing process. You can do as little or as much as you want. And, you know, with a lot of things in detailing, there's not a right or wrong. It's kind of like what your preference is and what works for you. And I love this community. So we would love to hear from you in the comments section down below. What are some of the things that you do interior detailing that maybe that we didn't share here, and let's start a conversation. So again, thank you, Sydney.
Yeah, thank you
for coming out here, and check out some of our other videos, and we'll see you next time.